do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks. You see, KYJ, things have changed just a little bit since the last time you were here.
I think you should see your oculus. Nothing wrong with my feet. I'm talking about your eyes.
I can even make my ass do tricks. Watch this. You have any idea where you are? You're in the jungle, baby. This is WCW. That's right. Hold on.
For over 10 years, the world's #1 source for professional wrestling news and information. And once again, here's your hosts, Damian Nelson, Frank Cosentino, and the man they call Meathead. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Welcome to our worldwide audience and our audience here in southeastern Wisconsin on 540 ESPN Radio. Damian Nelson here with the Skull Crusher, Rossi Brown, Ring of Honor's very own, and the man they call Meathead. We're live Monday night, March 22nd, 2010, and we are firmly on the road to WrestleMania 26 this Sunday in Phoenix, Arizona at the University of Phoenix Stadium. Gentlemen, both WWE Raw and TNA Impact live tonight. TNA coming off the heels of that Destination X pay-per-view last night. So much to get to as we reflect back on WrestleMania's past and the future, of course, this weekend. A couple of things we're going to talk about tonight. The shows, back-to-back, head-to-head, Raw and Impact, a full review of TNA Destination X, WrestleMania preview, and we'll be entering the phone zone where you can be a part of the show tonight. The number to call is 1-800-990 ESPN, 1-800-990-3776, or all over the world or locally at 276-ESPN, 276-3776. And I can't think of anything better to do than to listen to us talk in an energetic and exciting fashion as opposed to the monotone Muppet, John Cena. He's talking right now live as Raw goes off the air. Gentlemen, as I said, a lot to get to tonight. WrestleMania 26 coming up this Sunday. David Hero in protest and has decided not to appear tonight on the Pro Wrestling Report radio show.
That's the second now, isn't it? That's the second protest that he's done?
Well, last time he was pouting, but this time he did provide the interns with an official statement as Eric Young has joined in the ring on Impact with RVD and Jeff Hardy, which is an interesting mix, especially since we have not seen anything from the reformed Wolfpack tonight.
And we'll obviously see Eric Young talking more than a, monotone like John Cena is. And again, Rashi, you made the point right before we went on the air. If you're watching these two shows, picture in picture, who's going to turn to John Cena sitting there talking like a robot?
Everybody's going to turn to John Cena.
What?
That's the whole Cold Harsh reality. Everybody's going to turn to Cena.
No, they're not.
I think most wrestling fans will turn to John Cena. He's familiar. They know him. Well, Jeff Hardy, though.
You have Rob Van Dam and Jeff Hardy in the ring, and you have John Cena and Batista in the ring not wrestling. What do I want to see?
Looks to me that Jeff Hardy and RVD are a little confused by Eric Young's presence. And I will say on the other side of the dial, thank God Batista is a heel because he is tremendous in this role nowadays. We're going to talk more about that later. Let's get to that statement now. David Hero sent over the following to senior intern Cal, who passed it on to me. Hot news, breaking news. And I quote, "To all of my loyal PWR followers, I am sorry to announce that I will not be able to attend tonight's PWR."
So you're telling me he's talking to two people right now?
As most of you know, about 2 months ago, I predicted that the Pope would not headline a TNA pay-per-view. Since that time, I have been called a hater and ridiculed for my stance. I believe it is safe to say that after Hulk Hogan's announcement on tonight's live Impact that the Pope will not be headlining the main event at Lockdown. With that being said, I feel it is in the best interest of tonight's Pro Wrestling Report that I will not be giving my opinions, as we do not need to burn up the phone lines with your apologies. Feel free to meet me in Phoenix at Baby's Steak and Lemonade this weekend and express your apologies and congratulations then. Thank you. David Hero, PWR Opinionist.
We have come a long way on this program. Apparently, we all think our opinions matter so highly that we're releasing statements now. It's Rashi. That's where it's gone to. That's where it's gone.
He addressed his
Boy,
peeps.
oh
He knew
boy.
there'd be questions, so he addressed his peeps.
Couldn't he have just texted the two of them?
I don't think he has their numbers. They don't have cell phones yet. They're dealing with.
He couldn't have tweeted it instead of tweeting what he's having for a late night snack. He couldn't just tell us that he was going to do that instead.
Is it always late night?
It's always something. I mean, there's a encrusted this and baby soap that and.
Yeah. Well, enough about David Hero. Let's get to the topic at hand, which is professional wrestling. And we apologize those of you who tuned in, who heard earlier on our Twitter account that King Kong Bundy would be joining us. King Kong Bundy has had to reschedule for next week, so he will be joining us next week right here on the post-WrestleMania edition of the Pro Wrestling Report. Gentlemen, last night on pay-per-view, it was TNA's Destination X. And I will say this. I would like to politely request my $35 back. It was if it wasn't for Ric Flair literally giving Charles Robinson a run for his money, trying to get down the ramp in that wheelchair, this pay-per-view would have been just painful. Ric Flair in a wheelchair saved the show. He is as good as he was when he was dancing around in his boxers in the old folks' home on Nitro.
Even the Florida Gator boxers.
Flair is tremendous. Don't woo me. I am not a happy camper.
Flair's great. He's great.
He was tremendous last night on TNA's Destination X. And let's talk about the matches. The main event was for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. It was Abyss versus AJ Styles. And I will say the ending to that match was a bit surprising, something we hadn't seen in a while in wrestling, specifically in TNA. I don't know if we've ever seen it in TNA, but AJ getting choke slammed right through the canvas and down to the Impact Zone floor by Abyss. Obviously, the match thrown out due to a ring malfunction, and the champion still stays around the waist of AJ Styles. Now, this one really had more focus, it seemed, on Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair than anything else, and I'm fine with that.
It's because they're setting up the next pay-per-view, as we heard, or as Dave Hero heard, that the main event for Lockdown was going to be Team Flair versus Team Hogan.
Cool. What did you honestly expect with Flair and Hogan in the mix, that they'd play second fiddle to AJ and Abyss?
I got to say that going into Destination X and ordering it, pushing that interactive button on my remote control, I really didn't even know what the matches were. That's how
they got you.
Well,
no, I'm a journalist. I'm a broadcaster, so I had to watch it.
I went the meathead route, and I didn't have to pay for it.
Come
you watched it on the
man.
No,
interweb?
I'm joking. I was traveling. I did miss it, actually.
Coming back from big Ring of Honor shows in Philadelphia, I believe.
No, I was.
I'm
in,
always wrong.
Detroit and Toronto.
And there was something
Canada.
with your brand new luggage. Did I hear something about that?
Yeah, the lovely people at.
Don't do it.
You weren't flying the official travel partner of the Pro Wrestling Report airplane.
I was not. Unfortunately. Sorry, Airtran.
AJ Styles still the champion, and Abyss, who is speaking exactly like Hulk Hogan now.
I don't know what to say about this. It's like Hogan is like the goofy uncle that's living through his brother's son in high school, and he wants him to be like him, and it's just like
creepy.
But is Abyss that guy? Should Abyss be that guy? It almost makes more sense for it to be the new man being pushed right to the moon, Rob Terry. It hurt me to say that.
His work style is closest to Hogan's.
Wow! Wait a minute.
Rob Terry is Damian Nelson's next big thing in 2010.
I said that.
I think Rob Terry
and
eats
it happened.
Stuff
It
bigger
proved
than you
itself.
for lunch, man.
Eats or
consumes.
Super. So that matchup, the main event. Hey, the thing is, I'm not sure I can ever buy into AJ versus Abyss because we've seen it so many times before, and
right.
I just don't know if I can get emotionally involved in that matchup, and I didn't last night. But, again, Ric Flair saved the match, saved the show, saved the night. Ken Anderson versus Kurt Angle, a good match, but this one where it seemed like there should be more emotion, had none from me. However, I will give mad props to Ken Anderson's promo after the matchup, where he was just a bloody mess, and he said to Angle several things that really struck a chord, and Kurt Angle, who had to think about Karen, formerly Angle, who was there sitting in the second row in the impact zone, really didn't have much of a reaction to that. They never showed her, but she was there. We have sources in the impact zone, you know. I know people down there.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the guy that flops out the sloppy joes, right, Damien?
They don't have sloppy Joe. It's high-class catering.
I don't know.
Down
I've
there.
never been to catering, but apparently you do.
You will never be to catering.
Confirming the fact that you've eaten their chicken.
This Anderson Angle thing looks like it's going to turn into a match at Lockdown, so this story continues. And I think it's good because I think it's really giving Anderson a reason for being in TNA in the fans' eyes and keeping Kurt Angle actively involved in a major angle.
No pun intended.
The Ultimate X matchup was also good, and I'll give them a little bit of credit here because it had a bit of a story with that promo that the Motor City Machine Guns cut before the matchup, basically saying this was their time, and the Young Guns, the Young Bucks, the Generation Me is what they're. Oh, it depends. If you go to Dragon Gate this weekend, they're going to be the Young Bucks again.
Yeah.
Saying that they've been wrestling since before they got their Hardy Boy starter kits.
Hey, now.
Good stuff. And a matter of fact, one of the best moments
Hold
of the pay-per-view was that promo with Motor City Machine Guns.
We've acknowledged the fact that some talents do listen to the program. Do you think they're also listening as well? Because didn't you bring that up a handful of weeks ago, saying they look like Hardy Boys light? I think they stole part of your line from this show to do their promo. You got to watch what you say, catering boy.
That's what the wrestling business is built on.
Hearing it?
Thievery.
Yeah, thievery.
We welcome everybody listening us live at PWRshow.com and ESPNMilwaukee.com. We are working on the small delay with the stream. We'll get that back up. And always feel free to hop over to our other streaming link available at PWRshow.com to never miss a moment of the show. Other matches last night, it was Daphne versus Tara for the Knockouts Championship, a first blood match, I guess. Very good. Very good matchup. And Daphne was owning that matchup until she abruptly lost it after a Widow's Peak.
She doesn't get the credit she deserves for doing what she's supposed to do in the ring. I think she's come a long way.
Rashi, what are your thoughts on Tara, formerly Victoria, getting into a little bit of mixed martial arts as well? She's a tough cookie.
Yeah, I'd say so. She's a pretty driven woman, and I don't think she'll ever be satisfied with what she's doing in life. I think she always wants to do better, and
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yep, all for it.
She's a former hoe.
What he means by that, folks, is she was affiliated with the Godfather.
Not a real-life street hoe. I mean, that's not what I was talking about. Also, whatever happened to Bound for Glory and the interference from, was it Randy Couture's wife? What happened with that?
You're not supposed to remember that. That was more than 3 months ago.
Are you kidding me?
What happened?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
We're going to take a time out, and we're going to enter the phone zone in just a few minutes. You can be a part of it by calling 276-3776 or 1-800-990-3776. We're also looking at your tweets on Twitter. We put a question out there right before we went on air. We'll be getting to those answers in just a minute, along with some of your comments from the chatmosphere. We are live Monday, March 22nd. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Follow 540 ESPN on Twitter. That's twitter.com/ESPN Milwaukee.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, the original WrestleMania theme.
Memories.
It's old school. This took us through WrestleMania 5, maybe 6, 7, maybe 8. I think it took us through 8.
I wasn't into the music at that point.
This isn't music.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
This is a theme.
That's why I wasn't into it. That's why I wasn't into it. I mean, if you saw on PWR Show's Twitter page today, Damien and the crew at PWRshow.com put up links to all the theme songs, you know, from all the different WrestleManias.
Theme songs you'll be hearing tonight right here in this very program.
Yeah, and actually over the last 3-4 years, they've been using 2-3 songs a year. My favorite was actually WrestleMania 21, where they used Big Time by Storybook of the Year, and they used Behind These Eyes by Three Doors Down.
Couple of conversations going on in the chatmosphere. Somebody saying better than Raw was TNA tonight. TNA is probably just as bad as Raw. So a lot of people talking about what's going on in the wrestling world tonight out there. And as we said, WrestleMania is this Sunday. We're going to be covering it live from Phoenix.
Yeah,
I almost
San
said
Diego.
St. Louis.
Yeah, San Diego.
Phoenix, Arizona. And it's going to be a fun time. Rashi, you're going to be in Phoenix, and you actually said that you saw what you consider to be a tremendous wrestling matchup this weekend from Ring of Honor.
Yes, the place was Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It was Kenny Omega versus Davey Richards. One of the most intense, high-impact, athletic wrestling submissions, high-flying. Oh, my God. I went to the front, and I paid for a ticket after I watched that match. It was that great. It was
You felt guilty?
phenomenal.
You felt ding?
I felt like I owed them something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Guilty. That's
not guilt. We'll see those performers again this weekend at Ring of Honor in Phoenix.
Yes, you will.
Along with yourself performing wrestling Friday and Saturday, I believe, are the shows from Ring of Honor.
Yes.
And the Pro Wrestling Report group will be there watching and egging you on. Should we cheer you or boo you? I forget.
You know you have no other choice but to cheer me.
That's
you
Saturday.
can't not like me.
Saturday, 1 o'clock, ROHWrestling.com, by the way. Brand new website, so go check it out.
Yeah, we'll be at Phoenix College both Friday night and Saturday afternoon for a 1 o'clock matinee.
Now, how do you feel? I think it's a great idea, and they've been doing this a couple of years of Ring of Honor kind of holding some shows at the site city of WrestleMania.
Well,
You've got all these guys and all these people in the city that are hungry for something to do.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because it gives fans that never experienced Ring of Honor a chance to come down. There's other companies that I won't name.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a big wrestling festival weekend.
Yeah.
And honestly, you do need good wrestling on WrestleMania weekend.
You got to get somewhere.
So you have to have Ring of Honor there.
I can say that when Damien and I went to Orlando, that was the biggest weekend as far as wrestling I'd ever had. By Monday night, I don't know about you, Damien, I was burnt out. I mean, we went to
the sun was out every day.
Yeah, we went to 3 TNA tapings. We went to the Hall of Fame. We stood at Fan Access Hall.
Wait, didn't you get the memo about this TNA thing? You're supposed to say that we went to more WWE stuff than... In the atmosphere at PWRshow.com, a user by the name of DeVoice559 says, if Impact was good, that just means fans don't know how to make up their mind. No one wants to see Hogan, Flair, the Pac, and Bischoff, but yet fans are happy to hear of the lockdown main event. We'll talk much more about WWE Raw versus TNA Impact tonight in just a few minutes. Let's continue talking about Destination X. Last night on pay-per-view was a ladder match for the X Division Championship. For the first number one contender spot for the X Division Championship. Kazarian versus Daniels versus Amazing Red versus Brian Kendrick. Kazarian wins. He is the number one contender. This match, I thought, didn't deliver as much as I expected it to, given the talents in it. It was a bit more slower paced than I would have expected. And again, what was lacking in this match was a real story, even though we saw recently on Impact Kazarian come out and claim his stake for the X Division Championship. 4 great talents.
Well, Kazarian Kaz, if you will, Frankie's getting a push. And, he's letting everybody know about it. He's going to keep getting that spot. He's going to keep being on TV. Dave Hero keeps stealing his underwear or whatever happens with that. But yeah, Frank Kazarian, he's going to be out there. So I see him getting that X Division belt quite soon.
The TNA Global Championship,
From your guy.
Magnus, going up against Rob Terry.
Your guy. One question.
It was 1 minute, 25 seconds.
What part of the world doesn't the globe cover? And vice versa.
Technically,
is the globe a suburb of Earth?
No. If you want to go into technicalities, let's talk about inhabitable and uninhabitable areas.
Where are you going?
Like Antarctica.
Yes.
Okay, there's parts there.
He watched Life last night on Discovery. That's where he's.
I did not. He
heard it while he was sleeping.
Yeah, there are parts there that you can't live on, so you can't defend the global championship there. But the world would cover every place that is inhabited.
No, we're not going to. No. You made
Come on,
just
man.
as much sense.
I made that up in 10 seconds.
So
and it sounded like you made it up in
drop
5.
out of a plane and wrestle there?
No, because you'll die of hypothermia.
Rob Terry wins in a minute 25. Here's the thing, though, guys. And we saw Rob Terry go over on Tomko tonight, win the match against Tomko. Is there anybody who TNA should not be pushing other than Rob Terry? Meaning, is that really the person you want to be one of the top visuals of your organization?
All right. The man is a freak of nature.
Physically speaking.
If you give him 3 or 4 basic maneuvers that he can get down pat,
He had a bicycle kick or a spinning a heel kick last night.
He's worth the investment. As long as he's not hurting people, the look is just ridiculous. You have to use him. You can't not use him. I mean, I wrestled with him down in Florida Championship Wrestling. How big he looks on TV, he's twice that size in person.
Really? He's smaller on TV?
And honestly, he's lost about 50 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. The dude is ridiculous.
Here's the thing, though. He's somewhat awkward in the ring.
Yes, he is. I mean,
The
wouldn't
mobility
you be?
Well,
Yeah.
I guess. Back when I was that buff, you know, then
Yeah.
after
3 or
the
4
trial.
weeks
He
ago.
looks actually like he should be in the new rendition of Right Said Fred.
I'm not sure what you mean by that. However, I am too sexy to continue to listen to you. It was Hall and Six-Pac versus Kevin Nash and Eric Young.
Well, this wasn't so much about the match as it was obviously putting Kevin and Scott and Six-Pac back together again.
And I got to say, as much as I love Mike Tenay and I think Taz is doing a decent job, they really fumbled that whole Wolfpack reuniting thing.
Wolf or Wolf?
And they just they didn't sell it. It just sort of happened. It's like, okay.
Rams plagued by fumbles as earthquakes rock Los Angeles. Still middle left.
But they're back,
That's
and
the
then
line.
we really don't even see anything about that, which is, I guess, a major reconnection tonight on Impact. It's a little bizarre.
And that's how much we have to talk about it right there, too.
It's one of those go figures.
Hall and Six-Pac now get TNA contracts, and just like they didn't have them before. Shannon Moore versus Doug Williams for the X Division Championship. I like what Doug Williams said after defeating Shannon Moore. The X Division is not about spots. The X Division is about wrestling, catch-as-catch-can wrestling, which is why I'm the champion and which is why I am the X Division. And at the end, you sort of thought there would be an RVD or a Jeff Hardy or somebody running, which didn't happen. They put Doug Williams over after that matchup.
Yeah, where's Homicide been?
Can't the man just get put over?
Yeah, I guess.
That was good. That was good stuff. The tag team championships were on the line in a bizarre matchup featuring Morgan and Hernandez going up against Beer Money. What distracted from this match was the dissension between Morgan and Hernandez. I think they focused too much on that as opposed to focusing on the actual matchup. And then to have Morgan and Hernandez win it, it's a little bit of a swerve, I guess, but not really because I'm not sure anyone cared. Just to put it blunt. And then we saw that match, obviously, tonight on Impact, and Hernandez, a little bit of a cranial problem after taking the big boot.
No longer.
Well, but they're still the tag team champions.
Well, they're not. They're going to end up wrestling for the, for the belts. Hernandez is out with a head concussion or of some sort, unlike a knee concussion, which you can get too.
That was TNA Destination X last night on pay-per-view. I think by Wednesday, everyone will have forgotten about this pay-per-view.
No, because it replays on Thursday.
By Friday, everyone will have forgotten about this pay-per-view.
Okay. Maybe they'll forget the replay.
Back to Wednesday. The remix. We're going to be entering the phone zone in just a little while. You can join us on the phone lines at number 276-ESPN, 276-3776, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-3776. Gentlemen, let's talk about WWE Raw versus TNA Impact tonight. And I did a little experiment. I rated it by the quarter hours. I took the 8 quarter hours, each 15 minutes, and wrote down what I thought which show was better and why. I think I might do this for a couple of weeks till I forget to do it, and then it just goes away.
Kind of like the WrestleMania. Anyway.
No, you all messed that up when I went to Mardi Gras.
Yeah, we did that on purpose, kind of.
So you wouldn't have to moan about it each and every week.
It was all Frank.
I don't know. What did I pick last week?
It was Frank.
That was like real homework, man.
Sorry. But let's talk about the shows. And I would have to say, I guess TNA Impact, headlined by the Jeff Jarrett, Mick Foley, Eric Bischoff situation, and WWE Raw, highlighted by Kofi Kingston and Bob Uecker.
Just a bit outside. He tried to corner and missed.
Rashi, in about a minute, your thoughts, which show was better, and why overall, before we get into it in detail.
Once again, and it may sound like I'm just picking on somebody, but I'm not. Every time I tried to turn it to WWE, either they were talking or I was looking at the 9,000th time Shawn Michaels and Kane go at it, or Kofi and the Russian, and on Impact,
Double E.
there were things that were entertaining me. Ric Flair was cracking me up.
Get me down! Get me down! Woo! Get me down!
And even the girls, the 8-woman match, it was entertaining. And on the other side of that, I think there was talking. Maybe Cody Rhodes and DiBiase, they had so much mic time. I was like, honestly, this is my thing. Randy Orton is like light years ahead of the boys they have in a program with him. It's almost unfair because he brings the fire and everything to that feud with those guys, but the other three just look like robots, like they're just doing what they're supposed to. And Orton, if it succeeds, he's the reason, entirely and solely.
Yep. Meathead, surmise your thoughts on which show was better and why.
During some tweets that I put out this afternoon, I was accused of being a
Do you have
TNA
any followers?
Huh?
Any?
300 something.
Well, what usually follows dead meat? Maggots.
Oh, wow. Rashi's on tonight.
You know, when they built the studio, they put the door right there.
Yeah, the one that's going to hit you in a minute?
Yeah. So, I was accused of being a TNA mark today, but it's because, let's be honest, to kind of piggyback on what Rashi said, TNA was doing stuff that I didn't expect. They were doing stuff that actually was entertaining me.
Like?
Are you telling me that the WWE Raw, the Raw before WrestleMania was going to give you something you didn't expect? All it was going to do was finalize every feud before WrestleMania.
Yep. Never do they ever just throw you a curve.
Please.
But wait a minute. Isn't that the responsibility?
It is. So that's what I'm saying. That's not entertaining to me.
But it's stale. It's the same thing. I had a house full of people when I was watching TNA, and I forced them to watch it because
you wanted their opinion.
No, because I had to watch it because I have a job to do this show.
Okay.
But anyway, the Flair segment, everybody's like, "Oh, he's wrestling again.
Give me down.
Oh, there's Hogan." The whole house, and then Flair getting pushed down the ramp and clotheslined by Hogan. We all erupted in laughter. And they're like, "Oh, man, he's too old. He can't be doing that stuff no more." And it was just great, and everybody's just having a great time.
To that point, and Kevin Nash made this point on this very show. I was talking to a lady named Lori at the hotel in Phoenix, getting some stuff worked out today, and she said, "Man, I really like Hulk Hogan. I haven't watched since Hogan wrestled." And I said, "Well, he's wrestling again." She goes, "Really?"
And again, it's the comment that we keep bringing up over and over is that Kevin Nash said people didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
So a couple of our followers on Twitter had a lot to say, so much that I need to take a time out to figure it all out. We're going to come back and we're going to enter the phone zone here on the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Stay up to date with 540 ESPN on Facebook. Go to Facebook.com/ESPN Milwaukee.
What are you shaking your head for? What's wrong with that?
I'm waiting for Lindo to walk in, comatose.
I still hum this. I wish we could play the whole video.
Well, I'm a little PO'd right now.
Oh, see, y'all done did it in this atmosphere at PWRshow.com.
Who was the moron that had the nerve to make this comment?
Well, Cal deleted it because he knew you'd get hot about it, but let me try to find...
And he's saying it.
Let me try to find that name, but...
Come on, Cal, find it.
Here it is. Here it is. Jason Hunter. Rashi is buying for a TNA contract.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Hunter. I work for Ring of Honor Wrestling. I am the happiest I've ever been in my life in this business.
Even when you had your WWE developmental contract.
Like I said, ever in this business. I would talk about that for 2 hours, but that is not what my job description says. So I'm talking about the subjects you people want to talk about, and I'm giving my honest opinion. If you don't like my honest opinion and you think I'm doing it for political reasons, then you don't know me well, and I don't think you do know me well. I'm just giving my honest opinion.
And that's what this show is all about, honest opinions without regard for what is thought, which is what we encourage the fans to do as well, and we encourage them to do so in the phone zone, which is brought to you by AirTran Airlines, the official airline of the Pro Wrestling Report for WrestleMania 26. Thanks to all of our friends over at AirTran Airlines. And you can obviously
fly one of their planes.
Indeed.
Well, not technically. I want to fly a plane.
Well, and a few years of
flying
training.
high, baby.
A couple of tweets on our Twitter account. PWR Show is our name on Twitter. We asked the question, which show was better tonight, Raw or TNA? The Stud 1990 says Raw by miles. Dwight Foot says WWE. Walker Sports says WWE show had some logic. TNA didn't seem to have any direction, just throwing things against the wall. Scarlet Fever says TNA. B. Sykman says TNA was way better tonight, just a great main event. TNA. WWE from B-Jart Wrestling. Comment for Mr. Hero winning again from Alec 1250. And much more. And a lot talked about. It looks like TNA the winner, though. And keep in mind, we have the poll at pwrshow.com, which is not a week-to-week poll. It started on March 8th. It will continue through these Monday Night Wars. Which show is better on Monday nights? The gap has closed just a bit. Impact ahead with 57% of the votes, and Raw creeping up now with 43% of the votes, up some 10%, I believe, from last week.
Creeping and rolling.
So let's go to the phone zone, of which you can participate. The number 276-ESPN, 276-3776, or all over the world.
Hey, Damien.
At 800-990-ESPN.
For our buddy Dave Hero.
Yes, the one with the statement?
Yeah, when Hogan was freed, who came and freed him today?
I think he formerly was known as Elijah Burke, now known as the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro.
Oh, yeah, that's that guy that's not going to be a star that Dave said, right?
Said he would never headline a TNA pay-per-view.
Never.
That's what Dave Hero said.
Saving Hogan. How many people save Hogan?
I think Dave was just saying.
Oh, yeah, he was just saying.
Let's go to Houston, Texas, the site of last year's WrestleMania. James, you're live.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
James, what's up, buddy?
Nothing much. I'm a first-time caller, and I just want to let you guys know that I appreciate what you guys do, and that award was well-deserved.
Thank you very much for listening.
No problem. As for Impact and Raw tonight, I enjoyed them about equal. Is it me, or is it that the WrestleMania promotion has been kind of subdued this year? Do y'all guys agree with me on that?
You know, I was talking to a coworker the other day at my day gig, and he said, actually it was earlier today, he said, man, WrestleMania is shaping up to be a pretty good card. And I looked at him and said, you mean WrestleMania 17? I mean, I'm sorry, the Hall of Fame, granted Bob Uecker's going in, which is awesome for us here in the city of Milwaukee. Who's the headliner?
In the front row.
I mean, really, who's the hook for the Hall of Fame this year?
It's Ted DiBiase.
And then WrestleMania itself, I mean, there's some good matches on there, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing that tells me, hey, I got to see this show. So what am I doing? Hopping on an airplane, spending a week in Phoenix to go to WrestleMania.
And then one more thing I wanted to say is about Destination X. I agree with you, Damien, about how it wasn't really worth $35, and I actually think that it kind of peaked after the Generation Me Motor City Machine Guns match, and then it was just kind of flat after that.
Yeah. And it wasn't a bad wrestling show, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure there was enough reason behind the show overall to make it worth a pay-per-view event. And thank you for that call, James from Houston, Texas. Again, the site of WrestleMania 25.
Now, wasn't that supposed to be the so-called throwaway pay-per-view?
In some pundits' minds.
Depends on the month.
So it didn't matter.
I think they think this one. Well, you mean between Lockdown obviously being one of the big fours, so the one they're headed towards. Yes, it was sort of a road bump towards Lockdown.
And again, Lockdown is one that they were promoting during Destination X.
Which is goofy.
Right. It'd be like saying that you're promoting WrestleMania during No Way Out, or what was it called this year? Elimination Chamber?
Whatever.
In the chatmosphere, Costa Rican fan says it's just very difficult to sit through a TNA show. Let's go down to Orlando, where TNA emanated from tonight. Glenn, you are live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Glenn?
Who is the biggest TNA fan around you guys right now?
Well, clearly that's me.
I have a question for you then.
Yes.
But first I have to give credit to TNA for the ending. The ending was really good, just letting the fans go wild and let you hear the emotion that the fans give you.
We agree.
But, Damien.
Yes.
So if Dixie Carter were to call you tomorrow and say, listen, I want you to make a storyline that will get the world talking about TNA, what would you say to her?
That is a tremendous question, one that I'm not prepared to answer because I am not a booker. I really don't know what that is.
The Booker man is sitting at home right now.
That takes great thought. It cannot just...
It doesn't. It's a great question, though. But
that is a very, very good question.
I think they are heading in that direction tonight. There were two breakout stars on Impact tonight, Eric Bischoff and Ric Flair.
But we don't want Eric Bischoff and Ric Flair to be the breakout stars. They had their run in the sun.
But why do you have to focus on them
no.
having had their run?
No, what I'm saying, hold on. What I'm saying is you can't have them be the breakout star because they already broke out how many years ago?
No, this is where you're wrong.
Did you get a soundbite of that?
Hogan
this
and...
is where you're wrong?
Hogan and Flair and Bischoff, they've added another dimension to their former characters.
Absolutely.
That is entertaining, and it's something you haven't seen in 5 or 6 years.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they were bottled up where they come from, and now they're being themselves. And these are things that we could have seen out of Flair while he was in WWE for 5 or 6 years that they wouldn't allow. So that's why I'm saying you're wrong.
Okay.
Bischoff was on tonight. He was dancing at the broadcast booth and had some great comments as well. I mean, Bischoff was just
Let me add this,
on.
too, and thank you for the call, by the way. Let me add this, too, with the guitar shot that he took from Jarrett in the beginning. That was a real head-on guitar shot. Normally, Jarrett uses a worked guitar, right? I mean, kind of hollowed out or whatever. Well, Bischoff was playing that guitar, so they set it up so he could play it.
The worked ones work, too.
But, I mean, I'm telling you, he took all of it. That thing exploded.
And another thing where you said breakout star, it's not a booking decision breakout star. It happens on its own breakout star.
Their talent shown through.
Right.
And let's get this straight. There's a difference between a rookie or a new star and a breakout star. Somebody could have been stagnant in an organization for 10 years and all of a sudden break out.
Again. Yeah, break out again. Okay.
Let's go now to the north side of Milwaukee. Matt, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, what's up? How's it going, guys?
Good.
That's good.
I got angle that most people don't. I got a 10-year-old son. I've been watching wrestling since WrestleMania 1, before that. And TNA just gives me something that my son can't watch. But the dilemma is that he's a Hardy fan. And I won't let him watch TNA because it's a different style of wrestling. It's something completely different. And I feel that once the Hardy thing clears up, TNA can ride Hardy for a long time because he is, I think, the biggest star, bigger than Cena in wrestling today. I think he can carry that whole company. He's the best pure wrestler there is in the world right now.
Huh?
You know, Hardy to me is TNA's Rey Mysterio.
I think Amazing Red is TNA's Rey Mysterio.
Oh no,
and
no,
they need to
Amazing.
play on him.
No, I'm talking about money. I'm just talking about
money-wise.
money.
Yeah.
I'm talking about money.
Here's the thing, though. Jeff Hardy had the WWE marketing machine behind him. TNA does not have a marketing machine. So they need to somehow or another get a little bit of that in a bottle and make sure they do a slow release on it to get Jeff Hardy as over as he was. Because
you
here's the
can see
problem.
WWE's frustration on that. They tried to sign Hardy after that January debut of Hardy. They tried to get him back. Hardy is he's the wrestler of 2000. he's it. He's the man, I think, in my opinion.
No, Jeff Hardy's a great star. Jeff Hardy's a great star. There's no doubt about that. But the problem, again, as we talked about earlier with the person I spoke to reference Hulk Hogan and what Kevin Nash has said on this very show, who knows he's in TNA? Everything you've seen them advertise is Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan, which is supposed to be the draw. But do the fans know that Jeff Hardy is on the alternative?
So you look at their website, they moved him from the right to the left. If you look at their website, they moved him to the right to the left of their website.
But you got to go to the website.
Another thing about TNA though, I'm 30-some years old, and Jeff Hardy makes me feel like that I'm watching old school WCW. TNA makes me feel like I'm watching old school WCW with a little TNA or ECW twist in it with RVD and them.
Yeah.
I love it. It's awesome. It's built for me, built for adults.
And that's and again, thank you for the call, but that's what we were kind of alluding to with the whole TNA is, kind of reaching out and putting guys like Hogan, putting guys like Flair out there. That's what's going to grab that audience that's been missing, the WCW audience that kind of left in 2001. That's what they're reaching out for again. Even though I don't want to see Nasty Boys, I don't want to see Hogan, I really don't want to see Flair on TV in the state that they were in when they were last seen. But, if that's what you're going to do with Hogan, have Hogan on TV with Hardy. Now people will know Hardy's in TNA.
But that's what they're kind of doing with Abyss.
And,
it's a mania,
if you're going to do it one guy at a time, that's fine.
Yeah. We've got Pittsburgh and Florida waiting on the line. You can be a part of it as well, 276-ESPN, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN. We're going to go into more detail about Raw and Impact from tonight, and we're going to preview WWE's WrestleMania 26 coming up this weekend on the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report. We are on the road to WrestleMania. WrestleMania 24, hey, now. Ric Flair's retirement, Edge versus The Undertaker in the main event, and the pyrotechnics accident.
Yeah.
Great WrestleMania week in Orlando, Florida was WrestleMania 24.
Remember, we're supposed to talk about how much WWE stuff we did that week.
Oh. Okay. You can be a part of the phone zone, the number 276-3776, in the chatmosphere at pwrshow.com. For those who don't recall, we do encourage you to chat live along with us, only at pwrshow.com. That says, let's go to the Shockmaster, who says, has anyone else watched the Monday Night Wars news with the Kaz? How awkwardly done was that? The guy is hilarious. I love his lack of presenter skills. This is somebody who gets it. No, this is somebody who gets it. It's a unique show that is different, distinctly different from the Pro Wrestling Report, and you can see a new episode coming up in 2 weeks. The Monday Night Wars with the Kaz. Waiting for SpongeBob to host Raw, by the way. I learned on Monday Night War that
I've been following Monday Night War on Twitter as well.
There's some unique doozies on there. I understand Tiger Woods is also going to be a special guest referee.
Tiger Woods has a new game coming out if you've been paying attention to the media.
Here's some joke you read in Maxim.
Yeah.
You're leaving it there like that?
Next.
We're going to be live from Baby Steak and Lemonade.
Oh, no. Say it with the stink that you've been putting on it for 2 months. Say it right.
Baby Steak and Lemonade.
WrestleMania 26. It is going to be an amazing series of days as we will be broadcasting live, Dave Hero, myself, and the Kaz, and potentially a special appearance by Rashi Brown. And I tell you this, folks, I've seen the list of potential peeps who are going to stop by. You don't want to miss this. Thursday, March 25th, this Thursday, we're going to do our WrestleMania Prediction Special Edition of Primetime, taping at 6:30 at Babies, and then followed by a couple of other special shows on Friday and Saturday. Go to pwrshow.com for all the information. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN at ESPNMilwaukee.com.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks. You see, KYJ, things have changed just a little bit since the last time you were here.
I think you should see your oculus. Nothing wrong with my feet. I'm talking about your eyes.
I can even make my ass do tricks. Watch this.
You have any idea where you are? You're in the jungle, baby. This is WCW. That's right. Hold on.
For over 10 years, the world's #1 source for professional wrestling news and information. And once again, here's your hosts, Damian Nelson, Frank Cosentino, and the man they call Meathead. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report. We're live Monday, March 22nd, 2010. And WrestleMania 26 is this Sunday. And there's so much to talk about WWE versus TNA Impact tonight on Raw. I think it's week 4 of the renewed, yes, I'm going to say it again, Monday Night Wars. And fans have spoken. It seems that TNA has gotten more favor than WWE did tonight.
So far, yeah.
Let's talk about some of the highlights on those programs before we go back into the phone zone. Pete Rose was the guest host on Raw, and he made the matchup between the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and Kane, where we saw The Undertaker interfere, and then Kane come back after that happened, really putting forth that storyline going into WrestleMania. And I like the interaction, of course, between Pete Rose and Kane, because that was a 3 WrestleMania run. I think it was 14, 15, 16, when Pete Rose was attacked by Kane.
Pete Rose first, and Pete Rose had the San Diego Chicken, and I forget how he came out in the third one.
It was Pete Rose Chicken.
Oh, it was Pete Rose Chicken? Okay, my bad.
Goose. Final Money in the Bank qualifier, Kofi Kingston. Yeah, he's still in WWE. I think they remembered this week and put him in a match with Vladimir Kozlov. Kofi qualifies for the Money in the Bank ladder match, of which there are now 10 participants.
Really?
I had my mark-out moment of the night when The Miz took on John Morrison with R-Truth and Big Show on commentary. Triple H teamed with Randy Orton to take on Sheamus and Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes. I don't know. I didn't write it down. Was Evan Bourne on Raw tonight?
You're going to have to text or tweet David Hero.
Yeah. Oh, he's on his way to Phoenix. He hopped on a plane. He's done. Brett and Vince McMahon, though. I thought that was a bit of a dud.
Oh, yeah. I watched it.
Brett just kept talking.
Flat. And Brett stuttered a lot.
He's never been the greatest at a promo.
I got you, but you're selling this big marquee matchup in the biggest pay-per-view of the year. You better know what you're going to say before you get out there.
I was expecting a bit more in a way to bring it home, if you will, and was disappointed with the way that was pulled off. I will say, though, I was not at all disappointed in the announcement of Bob Uecker going into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Well, that announcement was just a bit outside. From the corner and missed.
I also wasn't disappointed with, as I said earlier in the program, how great Batista is lately.
Yes.
He is a great heel.
He is a great heel. I just didn't like his promo tonight, though.
Really? Was it the fat chick comment?
No, it was the repeating himself over and over. To say hello to the bad guy.
He's talking in sound bites, son. He's got the point across.
I still like him. I still like what he's doing. We've talked about it. He's got you listening. He's got you upset at what he's doing, and he's doing less physically, making it more meaningful.
Yes.
So that was things
over
on the Raw side of things. As I said earlier, I
love Kelly Holcomb. I know he will start.
As I said earlier, I took it segment by segment, and I would say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 8 segments, Impact did a better job than Raw at the same time.
Right, you're talking head-to-head.
At the same time, head-to-head. And in 3 segments, Raw did better, and those 3 segments were the Bob Uecker announcement. Bret Hart, while it was a dud, it was still good to see him on Raw. It kept you tuned in because you wanted to hear what he had to say. And also, I thought the matchup with Triple H and Randy Orton going up against Sheamus and Legacy had meaning behind it and was a good match.
And what did Sheamus, Legacy, Randy Orton trips go against on TNA?
Directly, I don't recall specifically.
Okay.
Let's go to the phone zone. Let's go out to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I just wanted to pop my peas. Mike, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, guys, what's going on?
Hey, Mike.
I just wanted to just get a few comments out there, and you can rebut them, whichever way you want them. I'm looking forward to hearing it. I'm an independent wrestler myself, but I'm a mark first. And honestly, TNA makes me watch. Well, yeah, of course. That's why we do what we do. Mm-hmm. But TNA is definitely making me watch again. And, I love Flair. I know a lot of people still do, and what he's doing with AJ, man. I'm actually buying into this heel turn, Mm-hmm. RVD and Hardy. RVD to me is a bona fide star. He still has a lot of fans out there, but Eric Young came in and just crushed it for me.
Why was he there?
I have no idea. I mean, the climax was set, and it should have been, brought home again, quote unquote, right?
And it's unfortunate for us, Mike, that we actually were broadcasting while Eric was talking, so we didn't get to hear anything he said.
Ouch. Well, no, not ouch for him.
Yeah.
But two more things. Tomko doing the job was horrible. I mean, two big dudes like that, and what do you get? He got an elbow in the corner, and that's it. Angelo Dinero, man, looking like The Rock. It's killing me.
Looking like The Rock, as in
his mannerisms and his clothes. I mean, I just hope they're not.
I'd throw Dusty Rhodes out before The Rock.
I'd throw some, a little bit of Dusty Rhodes and some Boogie Man and before I throw The Rock in there.
But he's a good talker though, and I think they could do some good things with him. And, but Flair, hey, he can make a pencil look like a champion, right?
In his day, yes, sir.
He still has a lot to offer, man.
Yes, right. In his role now, man, I love it. I love it
too. I mean, I laughed for about 5 minutes tonight when I saw his segment, and it was a little overdone. But then
that's the best part about it. It's overdone.
And again, when nobody was watching Raw, in relation to Nitro, Flair, Damien's mentioned, we all mentioned it. Flair, when he was in the insane asylum, bouncing around in his Florida Gator boxers as
elbowing his jacket.
What was his title? I think he was president at WCW at that time.
Those were some good days, though. That was Flair at his best.
And Flair made the point that I don't think he's ever done the wheelchair gimmick before.
No, but it was. I mean, I can't believe it. I'm still laughing about it.
I know, man.
Watch it again.
Whenever you have a bad moment, if you saw Destination X, just think of Flair rolling 100 miles an hour on his own power down that ramp on the wheelchair. It was Charles Robinson, WrestleMania 24.
I didn't see Destination X, but I tell you, I'm download. A friend is gonna let me borrow it.
It's okay. It's okay. Let me let you know the legitimate way.
Meathead?
Nah, stop it. TNA does put that stuff out there later on their YouTube page.
You're right. But I tell you what, did Scott Hall look drunk to you? Because he still looked drunk to me.
Oh, come on, Mike. Thanks for the call.
I still think he has a little bit of market value, but he looked intoxicated to me.
No, you're entitled to that opinion. I would say Scott Hall looked better than he has in years last night, though. Finally back in wrestling gear, which had to be taken out of storage, I'm sure.
And I want to mention that senior intern Cal had mentioned before the show is Scott Hall can actually wrestle in wrestling gear tonight. He intern Cal nailed it.
Thank you very much for that call. Mike out in Pittsburgh at the phone zone, 276-3776 or 1-800-990-3776. Let's go down to Florida. Gilberto, you're live.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Gilberto.
Yeah, I watched both shows pretty equally. I knew pretty much what WWE was going to do. I was just looking forward to seeing Pete Rose get Tombstone or Silk Slam.
Pete Rose! That's Pete Rose!
But he got Michael Cole instead. So, but with TNA, I thought their show was good. The only thing they need to really do is get used to being on Monday night. They shouldn't really hotshot it every week, And with Ric Flair, the last time I laughed that hard was probably when probably Meathead remembers this, when he had that promo where he took his pants off and started jumping around.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about in the Florida Gator boxers. And then, it's elbowing, like Damien said, elbowing his jacket.
I've been on the chat sphere tonight. I'm going by G-Money23.
Okay.
And, I'm hearing a lot of people saying that they're tired of seeing, Flair and the Clique and all that stuff. But, I don't mind it. I'm a fan of Scott Hall, but I think he still has value. I think that TNA is kind of giving us both. They're giving us both what they have and, veterans. Yeah. Because you always got to have veterans in the company. You can't just rely on the young guys.
Right.
Well, I would compare, and thanks for that call, Gilberto from Florida, and this is probably going to be a controversial statement, but The Undertaker's been doing WWE, that same gimmick, that same gig for 20 years.
And now, carrying new guys along with him.
Shawn Michaels as well. I mean, WWE's, they don't have people like Flair, who's been around since the 70s or whatever, but they've got a lot of people who are long in the tooth as well, and they're more comfortable with the fans. The fans are more comfortable with them, rather, because they've been there for so long doing the same thing. TNA needs to make sure whatever talents they have, old or new, are relevant. And as I said, I think Eric Bischoff and Ric Flair became much more relevant tonight than they had been in the past. And we'll see where it goes from here.
I think they're doing a pretty good mixture of new, well, not new to us, but younger talent and veterans, and then sprinkling in a couple of young guys with the veterans.
Which they failed miserably at January 4th and immediately following. Because it was all the nasties, Orlando Jordan, Sean Morley, which, again, whether you like those talents or not, they weren't peppering in the veteran TNA talents unless they were jobbing.
Right.
We're going to go to Queens, New York, and Waco, Texas when we come back on the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Nothing bigger, nothing more spectacular, and nothing can compare to WrestleMania. Watch as John Cena, Triple H, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, and all your favorite WWE superstars carve out a place in history at this legendary event. Sunday, March 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live on pay-per-view. Go to WrestleMania.com for details, and stay tuned to the Pro Wrestling Report next week for your chance to win your very own copy of the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania 3-disc DVD set. Let's continue in the phone zone. Again, you can be a part of it. The number 276-ESPN or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN. Let's go to Christian down in Waco, Texas. Christian, at last, you're on the phone.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Christian, are you sick of that joke?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. What's up?
No problem. Hey, I just want to get your opinion on wrestling attire. I know this sounds kind of weird, but after seeing Abyss wrestling attire with the red and yellow construction paper placed on his black outfit, just wanted to see if that's one of the worst wrestling outfits you've seen on wrestling.
I agree.
We'll let Rashi answer this one since he is the wrestler in the room.
That's like the biggest, hardest thing for me to swallow with Hogan passing the torch to Abyss. It's his attire. It's
not the ring, not the talking, not the mannerisms.
Well, the first thing that came out of people's mouths that were in my house was, dang, that dude looks like Mankind and I forgot the other person they
Kane?
compared. Yeah, Mankind and Kane put together. Who's that dude? Like he's just some cheap knockoff. He needs to change that gear, fix that face mask, something. I agree with you, man.
Well, it's not the worst thing we've ever seen. I mean, do we need to go back into history and start talking about wrestling gimmicks and gear and all that other stuff?
It's up there. I mean,
and thank you for the call, by the way.
For a person that they are really, really building a company around, kinda.
Yeah.
Sure.
There hasn't been a person.
Let's go right
except for maybe Mick Foley. But
let's go right into Brutus
Magnus,
territory. The Gladiator gimmick, all that gear that he had on. You know, he's wearing half shoulder. Brutus Magnus is in the World Elite. You know, he had that half shoulder pad that he had on. I mean, he was wearing half of, set of armor. I mean, it was terrible.
But he wasn't the spotlight of the company.
But he was the new hot star at that point.
I'm not buying that.
Even Finley, when Fit Finley came out, he was wearing the same thing too back in the day.
Let's continue in the phone zone. Let's go to Queens, New York, who wants to talk about tonight's main event. Moses, you're live.
Hey, good evening, guys. How are you?
Hey, tremendous.
Awesome. I just want to give a quick shout-out to everybody in the chatmosphere, everybody that's typing. I love your opinions, and just keep it up.
Okay, chatmosphere's alive, blowing up.
He likes typers.
Awesome. Listen, I just got to say,
type with two hands.
I saw both shows tonight, and I really did enjoy TNA. I enjoyed it overall. I did mark out for Ric Flair getting clothesline like Rashi and his friends.
Yeah, man.
And I definitely I enjoyed the main event with RVD and what's his face, Jeff Hardy and Beer Money.
You enjoyed it that much, huh?
No, it's just that I'm just I don't know. I always get nervous. It's funny. It's always the same thing. But my question is actually to Rashi, and it's very important. Did you finally get your bag from the airline that lost it, or what?
Man.
Remember, we're not mentioning the airline.
Let me
it
tell
wasn't
you.
AirTran. We know that for sure.
I bought this bad exotic zebra luggage. I just bought it Thursday before I left Friday.
Zebra?
Yeah.
Really?
Awesome.
Zebra and you just broadcast that to the world?
I told you I tell the truth. I don't care. And these people, I'm on a little commuter plane, so they made me check my bag, which I never check my bag.
You pay extra for it?
No. You just give it to them when you get down at the end of the runway. So I get off the plane, and everybody's getting their bags, and then the lady comes up, and she just goes, "You got a white stripy bag?" I said, "Yeah." "Well, it's down there, but the tag fell off, so I can't give it to you." I said, "It's my bag."
And you told me what my bag
I know.
is.
I said, "I'm the only person left on the plane, and you see it's my bag, and you told me, but you can't give me my bag." She said, "It'll be a $10,000 fine, and I'll lose my job, so I'm not going to give you your bag." So they flew my bag home to where I live.
Sure.
And I saw it. When I got off the plane, I looked to the right. There was my bag, the first one off. The dude pulled it off and threw it on the ground. I saw my bag on the ground. I got my bag. It's all scratched up. And somebody find a way to book me with dudes that handle my bags on the airline.
I'm on the other end of the room right now, and Rashi is still scaring me.
Can we guess the airline?
I can. Sierra Whiskey?
Don't even let them aboard. There we go.
Thank you for that call, Moses.
If you know
from
Gallagher,
Queens.
you'll know what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Sledge-O-Matic. Gallagher or Carrot Top? Who's better?
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. I guess I should have never asked.
Gallagher, hands down.
Which Gallagher? I mean, because there's a bunch of them.
The funny Gallagher.
Well, Chappelle said there's also Black Gallagher, too.
We've got callers in Atlanta and Boston waiting on the line, but let's talk a little bit about TNA Impact before we move forward. And as I said earlier, gentlemen, Eric Bischoff took that guitar shot like a man at the beginning of Impact tonight. He took every bit of it, went to commercial, came back, and then made the match between Jarrett and Foley, saying the loser is fired, and the other one is his, well, you know, and that the special referees would be Beer Money. Ric Flair. I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep talking how great he is. And you know what I've noticed about AJ Styles starting tonight? He, in the next few weeks, is going to be very easy to hate.
Yeah, man. He's tweaking his character really, really good. I'm loving it.
Absolutely.
It's evolving slowly but surely.
Ric Flair, when they get there, get me down! Hogan announced that it will be Team Hogan versus Team Flair at Lockdown. And in case you didn't know, Ric Flair reminded all of us that he is a cage match specialist. Just awesome. Abyss will lead Team Hogan, and Sting will lead Team Flair. Sting, who actually was at least teased on the show, was a part of the show tonight as well. And David Hero, as he released that statement earlier, Pope making the save, and as you pointed out, Rashi, he saved Hulk Hogan.
And not too many people, as Rashi said, save Hulk Hogan.
Not too many.
Morgan takes out Hernandez. It was a good sell on that by TNA overall with staying with it. And I made this point a couple of weeks ago. What TNA has gotten better at, which WWE has perfected over the years, is staying with something, letting it simmer, and letting it sink in. And they did so with this, pretty much selling Hernandez as practically dead. The main event was a good wrestling match between Beer Money and RVD and Jeff Hardy, which went for a very long time. And they took a risk, put wrestling up against Batista and Cena in the ring on Raw. We'll see what the numbers mean when it comes back. Well, we've already heard what the fans have to say. We're going to continue in the phone zone here on the Pro Wrestling Report, the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Stay tuned to 540 ESPN as Brandon Jennings and the Bucks make a run for the postseason.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. WrestleMania 22 from the Allstate Arena in suburban Chicago, Illinois.
That dump.
John Cena making him tap out. Did John Cena to Triple H in the WrestleMania. The build-up to that was when I became a bit of a Triple H mark, especially at the press conference at the Chicago Theater where he said, well, this is going to be the easiest match of my life. He just completely sold the fact that he had no way that he was going to lose to John Cena. And that was when everybody had Triple H on that pedestal saying he will never lose, he never puts anybody else over. He owned the fans, specifically off camera, that weekend and that week at WrestleMania 22 in Chicago, where it was big time for John Cena.
Especially coming out as Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah. Just reviewing the chat atmosphere here.
Host guy. Keep going.
Looking for some things to talk about. And while I do that, let's go to Deshaun in Atlanta. Wants to talk about WWE pushing new stars. Deshaun in the site of WrestleMania 27. We've already secured a studio down there, by the way.
Fantastic.
For our broadcast from WrestleMania 27. Deshaun, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up, Deshaun? We're coming over to your house next year?
Hey, come on. Actually, I'm doing it Sunday. I'm having a pay-per-view party here myself.
Tremendous. What do you have for us tonight?
Well, this question is kind of old because Damian says the number way too fast and I can't never catch it. So I had to go into the chat atmosphere to get the phone number.
Sorry, I'm a fast talker.
Yeah, but what I wanted to talk about is the WWE pushing stars. It's not that they don't try to push stars, it's that they don't push them the right way anymore. Like using the mid-card titles like the U.S. title or the Intercontinental Championship. Like, they don't have epic matches anymore, like Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock or Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper. It's like they just throw the title on somebody and then it just goes away. I think if they went back to that type of format, it'd be easy to build stars.
Sure, they kind of are doing that, but maybe not to our liking, I guess, because who's the United States champion right now?
Well, The Miz.
Okay, and that's the guy.
And he's
But he's also a tag team champion, and he's not, like, defending the belt. And
well, he's got 3 belts. That's all that matters.
Fighting each other for it to be better, but they're not. It's like they're doing a tag team match. It's not the same. It's not Austin and The Rock for the belt. It's just him holding the belt.
Like I said, they're doing it, but just not the way, and thank you for the call. They're doing it, but just not the way that maybe we're accustomed to, maybe we think it should be. You know, they are pushing The Miz. The Miz is their mid-card guy that they're trying to build up to that next level.
But The Miz has been there forever. He's had fresh talent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not doing it the way that we would think it should be done or accustomed to or, wish it could be.
I don't even think you know what you say half the time.
I don't think you
then you try to reiterate yourself, and you go somewhere else.
Well, now, is he talking about someone like Drew McIntyre, who's the mid-card champion on the other show?
Thanks for saving that, Fish.
The gentleman is what I'm here speaking of. People like Drew McIntyre, where they're kept so far away from the
real
mega stars that you don't even know who they are. You know what I mean? It's like watching TNA WWE because they're lost over there on that other channel, or you know what I mean. But you're wrong.
Again,
and it's okay. I'm gonna be wrong again.
In the chat atmosphere, PWRshow.com, user by the name of Shockmaster asks us this: do you think Bret Hart will interfere in the Shawn Michaels match to cost him his career?
Doubt it.
Be pretty cool, but
it's intriguing.
Yeah,
it's intriguing. That would be the talk of the night, though, if that were to happen.
That'd be pretty cool.
Let's go out to the East Coast, the city with several different accents, Boston, Massachusetts. Bowman, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What up, Bowman?
What up? I just listened to the guy that just, what Damian just said about Bret Hart possibly interfering and costing Shawn Michaels his career.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that would happen, but I think what would be more interesting is that I think Triple H would do that. Get it back.
Like when he turned at WrestleMania 15 on it was him in
Xbox,
China.
It was him in China turned on
Xbox.
the X. Yeah.
I remember that. I think that might be a little bit interesting. That's something that might happen. But what I really wanted to talk about is something that I see that there's a lack of on both TNA and WWE and when I'm watching wrestling matches, and it's called intensity. When I watch both going through the motions a whole lot. You don't get a lot of that, I guess, extra intensity that I would, you kind of expect. They don't seem excited when in the ring on either side. It just seems like they're just kind of pacing through their ways and going through Al Snow's famous 7 deadly steps until they get to the finish where they'll have the 2 minutes of high action going on, and that's it.
Let me cut you off for a second. I understand what you're talking about entirely because we all see that also, and we talked about it off the air. But the only thing that, in their defense, is they're restricted with their time, and live TV is so stressful, and you have people hollering to the referees in their ear, and they're talking to the wrestlers, and
sometimes you find out on the way down there.
Yeah, you have 8 billion things you have to think about when you're in the ring, and it slows you down a hair, and it may look like they're not interested, but they're just doing their best to do their job their best, and sometimes something suffers.
But then again, we've also, and not to have Al call into the show again, but we've talked about the 7 deadly steps of wrestling, and these guys are wrestling by the numbers.
Right.
And I mean, I understand your point, Ross.
I'd say if you went to a house show, you'd see more emotion because they can be themselves and they're not constricted and they're not so many bosses staring at their every move.
And they can throw glow sticks at me and accuse me of being a TNA mark.
Yeah, so I that's the only defense I can give, but I do notice what you notice also.
Like when I'm watching on TV and I'm watching Rob Terry, for example, and everybody's complaining about Rob Terry, but Rob Terry's getting reaction from the fans. The one thing I noticed from Rob Terry is that he showed some type of intensity after every move he did, and the crowd buys into it. It's the whole reason, like, many people don't understand it, that's the whole reason that John Cena's over. If you ever watch any of John Cena's matches, wait till the last 8 minutes of the match where he, quote-unquote, sort of holds up again, and the intensity starts, the crowd immediately gets into it, whether you're cheering or booing for him. And I wish they would do more of that more often.
Yeah, it's funny. And, the one image that kind of flashes through my mind is Cena coming back at the Royal Rumble a couple of years ago. There was a guy right in the corner, right when Cena came out and put up. The guy goes, "Oh, no!" It was perfect.
Well, now, Rashi,
because he got that reaction on him.
We've discussed this many a time. However, none of us have been in the ring. I have been powerbombed through 2 tables before, though. But we've said that if you're out there performing, as long as you are getting some reaction, it matters not what the reaction is. Is that a true statement, or have we been lying for the last 11 years?
That's not a true statement, because if you're getting a reaction of, oh, just go back and go home and we don't want to ever see you again, and then they're chatting, don't come back, I guarantee you're not going back into the locker room saying, woo, I did good tonight.
Because they were, yeah.
Yeah. So that's not true. That if they hate you and they like you and you're a good guy, or if they hate you and they like you and they're a bad guy, and they have a reaction, either they care enough to hate you or if they care enough to like you. It's when they don't care is when you worry, and when they tell you to go home and don't come back is when you worry.
Or get
it's
the
almost
F out or any of those.
What a lot of people said about Roddy Piper. He was probably one of the first people where this definition fit. People loved to hate him.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Larry Zbyszko.
Spudhead.
Oh, God. He still gets on my nerves.
You guys don't see it because it's radio, but you should have saw his face when he just said, oh, Larry Zbyszko.
He wasted so many minutes of my life as a kid, I swear.
Bowman, thanks for the call, and thanks for being a regular listener and caller here on the show. We appreciate that. And we appreciate all of you who have joined us in the phone zone. Remember, the conversation continues in the chatmosphere at pwrshow.com. And when we come back, we're going to talk WrestleMania 26, a full preview, match by match, of the show. We'll get Rashi and Meathead's perspective, as they will not be joining us in Phoenix at the preview show. So we'll do that when we come back here on the Pro Wrestling Report at 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. This is also WrestleMania 24, wasn't it?
No, this is 23 Detroit.
23 Detroit.
What was the other for 24? Because we saw
24
them
was
perform.
Rev Theory.
Rev Theory?
Yeah.
Yes.
Rev Theory and Chili's.
Yeah, we're live Monday, March 22nd, 2010, doing a little bit of a WrestleMania theme, memory road kind of thing, memory lane kind of thing.
As long as you don't go, oh, oh.
WrestleMania.
You guys don't understand.
Come on. Who will survive? That was my favorite part when Mean Gene did that cut in. Who will survive?
You guys don't understand. 12 years I've known Damian Nelson. He still sings that song walking
Who
down the
will
hall.
survive?
It's sad.
As in like someone was going to die?
Who will survive?
Someone will die. Yes, the ending of Survive.
I think they released it at the Survivor Series in 1992, going into WrestleMania in 1983, so that who will survive?
I think everybody out there, they were waiting to hear the answer to that. Thanks.
It's time for some hot news, Rashi.
Ooh, hot news.
I like hot news.
This is hot news. It's time for hot news. Live from the Time Warner Cable Studios, the PWR World News headquarters. Here's Damian Nelson, Skull Crusher Rashi Brown, and the man they call Meathead. It's hot news.
Thank you for that epic introduction. I like it.
Fish, I didn't know. I'm sorry for stepping on you. It'll never happen again. I apologize.
We've been talking a lot about Eric Bischoff tonight, and Eric Bischoff made it quite public last week that he received $50,000 from WWE for book sales last quarter. Well, 24 hours after he made that information public, WWE dropped the price of his book, Controversy Creates Cash, 92% to $1.98 from $15.48.
No, they didn't.
I am not lying. The proof is in the pudding. It's right there.
Another case of biting off your nose to spite your face.
Had he not said a word, he'd still be getting another check for $50,000.
But no, not even on Bischoff's part. On the WWE's part, obviously they're still selling books, right?
Yeah.
No, we don't want to make money. We want to make Bischoff make less money.
Yeah,
like
we don't want to make money. We want him to have less.
Yeah. Oh my God, so petty.
It was so blatant and so obvious as well. Bischoff,
but it is funny.
But you know what? That means I can put it back in my library now because I gave away my copy to a fan a couple of years ago.
That's a great book. If you haven't gotten it, by the way, you got to read it. But yeah, I mean, WWE certainly within their right to do so. But as you said, Rashi, they're taking money out of their own pocket. But I'm not sure it matters to them as much as not having the competition go out and say how much money they made from WWE recently.
That's funny. It's just hilarious.
92%. They dropped it.
Why didn't they just give them away?
I don't think they could have gone lower. I think that might be what the publisher did.
Right.
No, that might be shipping and handling.
Shipping is probably 3 times the cost of the book.
Oh my God.
We found out about a new guest host of WWE Raw in May, Wayne Brady. I don't know if there's going to be any slapping going on.
Again, you didn't watch Chappelle, right?
I saw Wayne Brady on Chappelle.
Okay, because Wayne Brady killed. Kind of like a surprise Bob Barker killing. Kind of like a surprise William Shatner.
That was the weird side of Wayne Brady, man.
But it was
makes you wonder, it's like, is this the real dude? Kind of like Mr. Woods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you didn't know that was in him.
You know, Tiger's my new idol.
What, the American Idol?
No. Tiger Woods, he's my new idol.
Why? He's just every other guy on planet Earth.
Yeah. Why, you want to marry a Norwegian?
He wanted to marry both of them.
Wait a minute.
That's 2 headaches. Never mind.
TNA also announced officially that Awesome Kong is gone from the company due to personal reasons.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one of the greatest moments on Impact tonight. Bubba getting knocked the heck out.
I hope it was a legitimate punch.
It looked like it might have been just a little bit.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Bubba being very well liked backstage at TNA.
I'm hoping it's one of those that he has to sell for months.
I can't imagine him being well liked in his house.
Yeah, I'm not going to go on a Bubba rant, but listen to his show, make your own opinion. He's on in the afternoons now on the radio.
And hopefully he's not on TNA Impact anymore.
He will be, I'm sure. That's this week's hot news, and now WrestleMania 26. I tell you what, guys, this will be my 7th WrestleMania that I've gone to, and really there is nothing like the atmosphere created when WrestleMania comes to town. Fans from all over the world, as you've heard from WWE, 50 states, all 50 states,
it's your
and
8th, by the
over
way.
20 countries. Ever since I went out to
Anaheim, California for WrestleMania 12 for the return of the Ultimate Warrior and the first Iron Man match. I've made it a point to go to as many WrestleManias as possible. And this year, of course, will be no different from beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. And this really is shaping up to be one of the best situations for me as a fan to be able to interact with all of our great fans and listeners and viewers from all over the world. We've got people who have RSVP'd from England, from Ireland, from Japan, from all over the place, and they're going to be all at Baby Steak and Lemonade, and we're going to be at WrestleMania. It's just me that you've been to a few as well.
Yeah,
and
I thought, Damien, I thought you did
like
8. I thought this is going to be your 8th.
I was
thought
at
you did
12,
3.
13, 14, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. This will be my 8th WrestleMania.
Yeah, because
Thank you.
did 3 before me.
I
and
missed
then,
one.
Yeah, you did 3 before me. You and I did 3 together, and you're doing another 3.
If you are a wrestling
Another
fan
2.
and WrestleMania comes close to you, you owe it to yourself to go because it really is just a great weekend. And as you said, Rashi, earlier, not only WWE, but the Ring of Honor events going on this weekend. There's just so much to do as a wrestling fan in Phoenix. And you talk about Super Bowls, you talk about World Series, you talk about big major events. If you haven't seen a WrestleMania host city in the last few years, it's as big with the promotion that the city puts behind the festivities that week. So, with that being said, let's talk about the matches, the lineup for WrestleMania 26 coming to you on pay-per-view this Sunday. And the first match we'll talk about is that big Money in the Bank ladder match, which this year features 10 different talents. Gentlemen, I'll go down the names and give you the opportunity to pick a winner and why. Firstly, added tonight, Kofi Kingston, Christian, Jack Swagger, MVP, Evan Bourne, all representing the Raw brand. And over on the SmackDown side of things, Drew McIntyre, the Intercontinental Champion, Matt Hardy, Kane, Shelton Benjamin, and a new person that I am happy to mark out for, Dolph Ziggler.
Perfection, huh?
Well, we are both perfection.
I'm going to go with either Dolph Ziggler or Drew McIntyre winning.
Dolph or Drew. Mr. Heenan, could you pick one? One person to win the match.
Okay. I'm going to go with Christian. No, I'm being a goose. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre just because maybe they can.
He's got the rocket on his back.
You know, then maybe they can showcase him here, and this is where he starts to propel to the moon because I hear they like him there a lot.
Ed, your winner and why?
Well, I've done this a few years now.
Rusty, it's what you don't say that I just enjoy.
I've done this
so
for
much.
a few years now, and I've gone down the list and said who's not going to win. It's tough this year. I can tell you Kane's not going to win it. It's not going to be Matt Hardy.
Because we have time for this.
Come on, dude.
Would you let me just break it down?
No,
we
don't
have time.
You just said, well, who's going to win and why?
Yeah, he didn't say who's not going to win. He said who's going to win.
Win it. Matt Hardy's not going to win it. Shelton Benjamin's not going to win it. That leaves 7 guys that all have the possibility of being the man. The easy pick is Christian. It's not going to be Christian. I actually got to go with MVP.
Ooh.
MVP.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Dolph Ziggler. I just got to, I guess. Ziggler in that matchup. Matter of fact, I'm withholding my predictions until we get to Phoenix. Next matchup is the 3-way matchup that I'm not sure enough people care about. I can then change it before we get to that. I'm not sure enough people care about. It's legacy exploding, not as much as when the Mega Powers exploded. It's Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes versus Ted DiBiase. Meathead, your choice in that matchup.
And real easily, it's Randy Orton. There is absolutely no way that those guys are getting over on Randy Orton. He is the face in this match.
Skull Crusher, Rashi Brown.
This is too easy to call. That's why I can't say it's Randy Orton. Somebody's going to mess somebody over, and it's either Cody or DiBiase, and I'm thinking it may be Cody because he seems to be more of a snake than DiBiase. I know, it's weird, but I can't go with the obvious choice here. I can't.
Rashi Brown, everybody.
Let's go to the next contest.
Outside the box, baby, outside.
The Unified Tag Team Championship, Big Show and The Miz going up against R-Truth and John Morrison, a team I still don't get. Rashi, your thoughts?
I just want to know, how long were the titles separated to be unified? Ooh, did they miss each other? Anyway, yeah, that is a weird. Well, all four of these guys in one ring is weird to me. First of all, but I guess you have to go with the new tag team of R-Truth and what's his name?
John Morrison.
Oh yeah, John Morrison.
As Big Show said tonight, he looks too good to win. That was what he said was on commentary. That was a good line.
Obviously, the winner and still tag team champions, Miz Show or Show Miz or whatever they're calling themselves. There's absolutely no reason to keep Morrison and Truth a team after WrestleMania.
Why not?
There's no reason really to keep Miz and Show as a team either. But it's a way to keep Miz with 3 belts on him.
Well, there's so many more matches to talk about. WrestleMania 26 this Sunday on pay-per-view. We're going to take our final time out of the evening, and when we come back, we go all the way up through the main events. And this is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Did you miss an interview? Don't worry. Listen to it right now on ESPNMilwaukee.com inside the audio vault.
Frankie the Thumper.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. It's Thunderstruck. It's WrestleMania 26 this Sunday on pay-per-view. And nobody's got you covered like Pro Wrestling Report. Going to be broadcasting live from Baby Steak and Lemonade in Phoenix, Arizona.
This one gets the blood boiling, Damon.
Oh, we're going to keep it going all the way through the end of the program. And let's talk about the next matchup, which is CM Punk versus Rey Mysterio. If Mysterio loses, he must join the Straight Edge Society. Meathead, your thoughts?
In the joining of Straight Edge Society, does that mean he has to lose his mask?
I think it means he has to stop doing drugs. And I think that's a good thing.
Remember his wellness policy violation?
Yeah. Mysterio's going to, come out on top. You know what? This actually has some heat to it.
So what they're saying is pretty much Rey Mysterio, he's going to go clean if he loses.
Possibly.
Triple H versus Sheamus in a grudge match. Your thoughts.
We all like grudges.
Triple H or Sheamus?
I'm going to go with Triple H.
Meathead?
It's Trips.
Huh.
And
it is a no-holds-barred match when Vince McMahon goes up against Bret Hart as they bury the hatchet on that 13-year situation. Meathead, your thoughts?
Well, depending on the placement of the card, I'm going to channel Frank Cosentino and say if it's closer to the end, you got to send him home happy. Bret Hart would win, but if it's anywhere towards the middle of the card, it'll be Vince McMahon.
Skull Crusher.
I'm going to go with another weird twist, and it ain't over yet. So I'm going to say Vince prevails.
It ain't over yet because Bret Hart's advertised for the April tour.
So there you go.
And now the championship matchup. It is the World Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho going up against Edge. Meathead?
Jericho.
Rashi?
Jericho.
The WWE title on the line. John Cena tries to get the champion off the waist of Batista. Rashi Brown, your pick.
I hope Batista keeps it.
Meathead?
How do we send him home then? So one of those two.
Got another match to talk about.
Man,
one of those two has to have a fade.
Cannot always.
Cena's coming out on top.
First.
Cena's coming out on top.
And the final matchup coming up this Sunday, WrestleMania 26. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. If HBK loses, he must retire. And if The Undertaker loses, he goes 17-1 at WrestleMania. Rashi Brown, your thoughts?
I think there's a lot less to lose going 17-1 than retiring. So I'm going to go with HBK.
That's a bold pick.
No. Hey, HBK, goodbye.
Well, now.
Take her 18-0.
PWRshow.com. Get all the information on our coverage coming to you from WrestleMania 26 this Sunday, live on pay-per-view. Be a part of it with the Pro Wrestling Report. We'll see you at PWRshow.com and Monday night on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.